ओमज्ञानतिमिनन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्तो राधा कान्तो नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। प्लीज रिपीट। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
one last time. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम
हरे
राम राम हरे
राम हरे
हरे। Hare Krishna, very warm welcome to all of you. Today in the Bhakti Shastri class, we'll be starting from the 11th shloka. So, we discussed last time that how the transition is happening from third chapter to fourth chapter. So, like at the end of the third chapter, Krishna is telling about the solution of the lust, right? In the last portion of the third chapter, Krishna is graphically describing that what is the cause because of which we are impelled to act. Although we don't want to act, but still we are impelled to act by some unknown thing. And that is because of Kamesha Krodesha Rajaguna Samudva. Mahashno Mahapapma Videnam Iha Varidam. So because of the contact with the sense objects, lust arises, and because of that we are impelled to act. So then he gives a very graphical description, like lust is sitting at various places, intelligence, mind, senses. And then he also gives a solution to control this lust in the last shloka of the third chapter, which is by regulation and by detachment. So if you regulate yourself, if you regulate your sense gratification, and if you attach yourself to Krishna and his devotees, then automatically detachment will come from the sense objects. And uh, the major contribution in the detachment is by association with Krishna conscious devotees. Because ultimately we have to strengthen our intelligence, because intelligence is above the mind. Indriyani paranyahur indriyabhya paramana manasastu parabuddhir yobuddhe parasastu sa. So we have to cultivate the knowledge. We have to take association of Krishna conscious devotees and hear from them, and we have to associate with them by the six loving exchanges of nectar of instruction, so that our intelligence is cultivated. Our intelligence becomes spiritual. Right now, our mind and intelligence both are material. They are covered by material coverings. But when we associate with devotees, when we hear Krishna Katha in the association of devotees, then that intelligence becomes spiritualized. And then we are able to control our mind. So the intelligence should be on top of the mind. Anything mind says, and it should be checked by intelligence whether it is right or wrong, and then we should act or not. We should decide through the intelligence. So that is done by hearing from devotees and by taking association of devotees. For example, all of you go to ISKCON Noida or any temple. Every Sunday you attend the morning program, you attend Bhagavatam class, and then do a Sunday love feast. So all these activities where devotees come together and keep Krishna in the center, these are nourishing on the spiritual level. So yeah. So basically, like to nourish our intelligence, we have to cultivate transcendental knowledge, and that's what is described in the fourth chapter. So the first four slokas, Krishna is explaining what is transcendental knowledge and how it is coming from uh, the like how he has given this transcendental knowledge to the sun god, and this transcendental knowledge was transmitted by sun god to Manu, and then from Manu to Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku was the main king in the Raghu dynasty where Lord Rama was born. So like this transcendental knowledge was given by Krishna in a previous disciplic succession also, but somehow that chain got broken, and now that's why Krishna is again giving this transcendental knowledge to Arjuna. So that connection between third chapter and fourth chapter is that we have to receive the transcendental knowledge in order to become Krishna conscious, in order to overcome our lower propensities like lust, greed, and anger. Because lust, greed, and anger are three gates to hell. Yeah. So in the first four verses, Krishna is explaining what is how transcendental knowledge is received and why Krishna is instructing again Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, because he wants to again reinstate this disciplic succession. And then Arjuna asks a question that how can I understand that Vivaswana, who is so senior to you, you gave him knowledge, because it looks like you are much more like you are just with me, right? Vivaswan was born like maybe in the previous age, so you must be junior to him. So Arjuna is always making these mental calculations according to his material mind. But then Krishna says, "Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam veda paranda." So there are multiple births which I have taken and you have taken, but you don't remember, but I remember all of them, although you don't remember any of them. So like this, Krishna is saying that since in the purport, Prabhupada is explaining that Krishna has a Satchidanand Vigraha body, and when he descends to this material world, he descends in that spiritual body. He doesn't have a material body like us, which is full of which is not Satchidananda, but which is opposite. Sat, opposite of Sat is temporary, and Chit means Nirananda, and Sat, Chit, and Ananda, right? So opposite of these, it is full of Dukhalyam Ashashvatam. It is full of miseries, and it is temporary, and it is full of ignorance. Chit means knowledge, and opposite of knowledge is ignorance. So Krishna has a Satchidanand Vigraha body, and that's why he is able to remember all the births which he has taken, all whenever he descends to this material world. But that is not the case with a conditioned living entity like us. Whenever we take body, we have to forget our previous bodies, because we have suffered so much in the previous bodies that's why if we have that memory, then we'll not be able to focus on our work in this body. So that's why Krishna gives that forgetfulness of previous bodies. That is his mercy. So that's what Krishna says, that although there are many births you have also taken, and I have also descended multiple times, but you don't remember, but I remember that you were also there when I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan. So he indirectly said that Vivaswan is not a junior to me, like I am senior to him. Like I have descended at that time when Vivaswan was present, and I'm now again descending and giving this knowledge to you. So then in the sixth verse, he explains how he remembers all the births. Because he has a transcendental body which does not deteriorate, and he appears every millennium in original transcendental form. So last time we discussed that in this Chatur Yoga, we are very fortunate that we have both Lord Chaitanya and Krishna appearing. So it is our great fortune that we should take this mercy to our heart, because Krishna appears in one of the 1,000 Chatur Yugas, and that Chatur Yuga is this one. So that's why we should be very and predominant of a religion. Then he descends, and then he descends to protect his devotees. And Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I think like for how long I was not audible?
Prabhuji 1 मिनट से 1 या 2 मिनट से.
ठीक है. Okay, so we were explaining that why Krishna is explaining. So in the 10th verse, he is explaining. In the 9th verse, he explains that once he descends to this material world, and one who is able to understand Krishna as he is when he descends, when he is able to understand his birth, his activities, then he doesn't need to take another birth in this material world. So, for example, just now Janmashtami came. So Janmashtami is a very auspicious festival on which Krishna descends actually. So all these are great opportunities to take shelter of Krishna. So when we understand Krishna in Tattva and Krishna as like in festival potent days like Balram Purnima, now Radhastami is also coming, Janmashtami, Ekadashi, then our realization of Krishna increases more and more. Yeah. So then we have to read the 11th verse. We have to start from the 11th verse. Anything, Pragya Mataji, anything which I missed? Anything you want to add from last class which we discussed?
Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तांस्तथे भजामि अहम् मम वर्तमाननुवर्तन्ते मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वशः. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Yeah, so this is very important verse. According to our disposition of heart, Krishna reciprocates. So somebody surrenders everything, somebody surrenders maybe a little bit. So accordingly, Krishna reciprocates. Purport given by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami. Everyone is searching for Krishna in the different aspects of his manifestations. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence and as the all-pervading Supersoul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. Yeah. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Krishna as Supreme Master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. So Krishna is Bhavagrahi. If you want to have Krishna as your son, then Krishna will reciprocate like that, just like to Devaki and Sutapa, right? Devaki and Vasudev, they were Vrishni and Sutapa in the previous birth. So they wanted Krishna as their son, so Krishna came as their son. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally according to their different intensities of love for him. In the material world, the same reciprocations of feeling are there. Very equally exchanged. By the Lord with different types of worshippers. So Bhavagrahi Janardhan. The pure devotees both here and in the transcendental abode associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. As for those who are impersonalists and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence. So even those impersonalists who really don't want to believe in the form of the Lord and they just want to merge themselves and they want to do spiritual suicide, Krishna motivates that also. And in the 7th chapter, we will see Yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhayan. So if he wants to worship demigods, he motivates that also. But it is not the case that that is the highest thing. So sometimes people say, I want to worship Lord Shiva, I want to worship Lord Brahma. and I'm experiencing a lot of bliss. So I feel that this is the highest. But actually, that is not the highest. Krishna is just motivating you. Krishna is just like whatever propensity you have, he is motivating you. But the highest thing is told by Krishna. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasami smash. So highest thing is surrender to Krishna or to his pure devotees. So pure devotees, they are directly having exchanges with Krishna. They, like, when they dress Krishna, Krishna is telling them directly what they want to dress, and they directly talk to him. Yeah, because they have reached that level. They are directly connected to Paramatma. Their mind is totally spiritual. They have purified their material mind, and their body is also acting on a spiritual platform. Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord, having extinguished their individuality. Some of them who are not firmly situated even in the impersonal existence return to this material field to exhibit their dormant desires for activities. They are not admitted into the spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on the material planets. So, for example, Shishupal and Dantavakra, they were given Sayujya Mukti. Sayujya Mukti means to merge into the body of Krishna. So, merging means basically you are the part. So, the Brahma Jyoti, there are 3 levels of realization, right? First is Brahman, then Paramatma, then Bhagavan. So, once you are Brahman realized, so once you are Brahman realized, then you don't have full realization of the Sachidanand Vigraha form of the Lord. You are not reciprocating with the form of the Lord. You are just hanging there. Your shelter is not complete. For example, Prabhupada gives the example of a rocket. If a rocket is not finding shelter on any planet, then it will come back to Earth and blast on the Earth. So similarly, if the soul doesn't find shelter in Brahman and he doesn't have full spiritual support, then again he falls down. Because all the desires, all the conditioning is still there, because he just wanted to commit suicide, so Krishna accepted. But the full shelter is not there. But when you serve the Sachidanand Vigraha form of the Lord, and when you get trained by a spiritual master, yesterday we were discussing this with Prabhuji Prabhu, that ultimately the training is required. You have to surrender to the spiritual master and he will train you on the spiritual level. You have to stay in his Gurukula. Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Guru Ritam Acharan Dasvatinicho Guru Sudrid Sauridam. So unless you stay in the Gurukula of Guru and you act for the pleasure of the Guru, Guru Hitam, and you have a very menial attitude, then Guru will train you. And this is the first part of life, Brahmachari. So first is Brahmachari, first 25 years Brahmacharya, then next 25 years Grahastha, then next 25 Anaprastha, then last 25 is Sannyasa. So if you are not trained in Brahmacharya, then obviously you are going to have issues in your Grahastha life. Because training means spiritual master will train you that you are not this body, you are spirit soul, and how you can execute your life on that spiritual platform. So if that training is there, then automatically you will understand that I don't want to merge into Brahman, but rather I want to serve the Sachidanand Vigraha form of the Lord. I want to serve my spiritual master. I want to follow the instruction of my spiritual master. Because that way I will experience Bhakti Rasa. Otherwise, that realization will not come. We just want to experience the Brahman effulgence. So there is Brahmananda also, and there is Bhagavadananda also. And there is Paramatmananda also. But highest is Bhagavadananda. And Brahmananda is also good, but it is not the highest. So that's why we have to aspire for the highest. And when we come in the association of devotees, when we do Mangal Aarti, do Aartis, and when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when we read Bhagavad Gita with devotees, then we experience Bhagavadananda actually. Because Krishna is there in their heart also, and Krishna is there in our heart also. And the Bhakti Rasa gets exchanged between the hearts of devotees. Yeah. So that's what, like, then we slowly in the association of devotees, we understand that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And at that spirit soul platform, pure devotee is making exchanges with Krishna. Krishna is directly instructing him what to do, what not to do. And he is experiencing the joyfulness of the contact of Krishna. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, Mukta Sangasya Jayate. So we become joyful, Prasanna Manaso, Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata, by connecting with Bhagavad Bhakti. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. So we understand Krishna in Tattva, Mukta Sangasya Jayate. So when we understand Krishna in Tattva, automatically we become freed from all kinds of attachment. Mukta Sangasya Jayate. So this attachment, this knowledge and renunciation, they go hand in hand. The more we cultivate spiritual knowledge, the more detachment will be there. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayate Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yat Ahitukam. So when we do Vasudeva Bhakti, when we get attached to Krishna, then automatically the detachment to matter will come. Because now we are in full knowledge that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, and we are meant to serve Krishna. Jivere Swarupa, Krishna Nityadas. Yeah. So I think some general philosophy is required in every class to set the platform. And this Prabhupada purports are always helping us to establish that platform. And today, Prabhuji was telling in the morning class that by reading Prabhupada's purports, our intelligence becomes strong. And we become, our determination increases, our dedication increases to achieve the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, there is no spiritual energy. Like there is only dryness. Mode of passion is there. In Delhi, pollution is there, and energy, mode of passion energy is there. But when we read Prabhupada purports, we are raised to transcendence actually, and our intelligence becomes nourished, just like in the last words of third chapter, Prabhupada is describing. Yeah. For those who are fruitive workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties as the Yageshwara, and those who are yogis seeking mystic powers are awarded such powers. In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon his mercy alone, and all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path. Unless, therefore, one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. So the path is same. All of us have to go towards Krishna. But if somebody becomes attracted to the mystic powers, then he might become distracted. But still, that path is also towards Krishna only, because Krishna is sanctioning that mystic power. Yeah. And that increases like generally, when you are practicing pure devotional service, this deviation, distraction is not recommended. Mukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakalaya Shanta Krishna Bhakta Sadeva Shanta. So Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami we should not do. We should just desire for devotional service. We should try to engage our existing propensities in Krishna service. That way you will experience Bhakti Rasa in your heart. Okay. Akama Sarva Kamo Bha Moksha Kama Udaradhi Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yadeta Purusham Dharam. So whether one is without desire, the condition of the devotees, or is desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness. So Tivra Bhakti has to be done by everyone. Whether you are performing pure devotional service, whether you are desiring for liberation, whether you are basically you have given up all your desires for fruitive activities. Everybody has to do Tivra Bhakti. Okay, let's move to the next verse. Kangshanta karmanam siddhim yajanta hyadevata Shipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Now Krishna is explaining different levels at which basically people. So first he explained a general statement that ye yathamam prapadyante. If you want to achieve the results of fruitive activities, then Krishna will give that. But Krishna will not give you pure devotional service. Then Krishna will not help you to understand his Sachidananda Vigraha form. Okay. So I think we can skip this purport. We'll go to the next verse in the interest of time. Chaturvanyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagasya tasya kartaramaphi mam vidhe kartaram avyayam. According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer being unchangeable. So now Krishna is saying that ye yathamam prapadante, there is a Chaturvanya Maya system. There is a Varnashrama system in which there are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So everybody can offer his word to Krishna. And at whatever level he is, he can advance. If he follows the rules and regulation of that level, then he can go to the next level. For example, if a Shudra, he respects the Brahmanas, he doesn't indulge in cow killing, then he can go towards Vaishya. Similarly, if a Vaishya, he does nice cow protection and he engages in agriculture and he offers those fruits to Krishna and he engages in nice bhakti, then he can promote to Kshatriya. Kshatriya means basically you are taking care of people where you are giving them protection and guiding them in Krishna consciousness, and you are protecting them from bad elements. So, for example, administrators, the temple president is like a Kshatriya. So he is taking care of the devotees who are residing in the temple and who is taking care of the congregation. So like this. And then finally, when you do nice activities, nicely fulfilling your activities as a Kshatriya, then you can reach the Brahmana level. At the Brahmana level, you are totally dedicated to spiritual conception of life, and you are giving guidance to Kshatriyas. So Kshatriyas are meant to be guided by Brahmanas. In Bhagavatam, we see that Parikshit Maharaj is taking guidance from other Brahmanas. And in Ramayana also, Dasharath Maharaj is being guided by Vashishta Muni, Vishwamitra Muni. So always king always had this Navaratnas, these 9 ministers, council of ministers who are perfect Brahmanas who used to guide the king. So this cooperation between kings and like Kshatriyas and Brahmanas is required. And if the cooperation is good, then the entire praja can stay happily in Krishna consciousness. Anybody wants to read 13th verse? Purport. Yes, Madhuri, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport.
Hare.
The Lord is the creator of everything. Everything is born of Him, everything is sustained by Him, and everything after annihilation rests in Him. He is therefore the creator of the 4 divisions of the social order, beginning with the intelligent class of men, technically called Brahmanas, due to their being situated in the mode of goodness. Next is the administrative class, technically called the Kshatriyas, due to their being situated in the mode of passion. The mercantile men, called the Vaishyas, are situated in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance. And the Shudras or laborer class are situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. In spite of he is creating the 4 divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions because he is not one of the conditioned souls. The section of whom form human society. Human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate men from the animal status, the above mentioned divisions are created by the Lord for the systematic development of Krishna consciousness. The tendency of a particular man toward work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. Such symptoms of life, according to the different modes of material nature, are described in 18th chapter of this book. A person in Krishna consciousness, however, is above even the Brahmanas. Although Brahmanas by quality are supposed to know about Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, most of them approach only the impersonal Brahman manifestation of Lord Krishna. But a man who transcends the limited knowledge of a Brahman and reaches the knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, becomes a person in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, a Vaishnav. Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different plenary expansions of Krishna, namely Ram, Narsingh, Varaha, etc. and as Krishna is transcendental to this system of the four divisions of human society. A person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nation, or species. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Would you like to explain?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, जो चार वर्ण हैं, वर्ण आश्रम हैं, वो भगवान ने ही बनाए हैं और हमारी क्वालिटीज के हिसाब से बनाए हैं. जो वैष्णव है, जो भगवान का भक्त है, भगवान यहाँ पर इसमें बताया है कि ब्राह्मण जो है वो इनसे, जो वैष्णव है वो इनसे भी बड़े हैं, ब्राह्मण से भी बड़े हैं, क्योंकि वो कृष्णा कॉन्शियस है.
Correct. Yes. Because Brahman is basically more interested in the Brahman effulgence. So Krishna consciousness, today also we were discussing that once we have conquered lust, that is the beginning of our Krishna consciousness. That is not the end. Like Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. So Brahma Bhuta platform is the ideal place to start. That is the start of your devotional service. And then you will relish Sachidanand Vigraha form of the Lord. Then if you are able to sustain on the Brahma Bhuta platform. So according to the modes of nature which we have acquired, Krishna has given different activities in the Vedas. If you want to perform, if you can perform those prescribed activities, then you can elevate yourself from that level. So this is all Krishna's system. So Krishna is defining the entire gamut, entire, you can say, entire structure of society. And this is not caste system. So generally people say that caste system is bad, right? Like caste, they will say, like Brahmana will say, oh, you are Shudra, you cannot take initiation or you cannot do yajna. But now everybody in Kali Yuga is Shudra, Kalau Shudra Sambhava. But they are doing yajna because they are nicely trained by spiritual masters. So Kiva Vipra Kiva Nyasi Shudra Keninoe, say Krishna Tattvaveta, say Guru. So Shudra and Brahman, they are not by birth or caste, they are by qualities and activities. So if a Shudra is also trained by a spiritual master, he can also become a guru. He can do yajnas. So like this, we have to understand. And below Varnashrama, actually, it's animal society. So Ahara Nidra Bhayamathunam cha Samanyetat Pashubhir Naranam Dharmo hi eko vishesho Dharmena hina Pashubhir Samana. So eating, sleeping, mating, defending, these animals are also doing, and like humans are also doing. So what is the difference between human life and animal? So if you don't do it, if you don't understand, if you don't dedicate your life to understanding your relationship with Krishna, then actually your life is essentially an animal life. An animal is sleeping on the road, we are sleeping on the Dunlop pillows, same. Animal is mating on the road, we are mating in 5-star hotels. Animal is like eating his bone, and we are eating in like silver bowls. So animal is defending himself when somebody attacks. We are defending by serving a manager. We are afraid of him. So there is no difference actually. It's just a different level of sense gratification, a different flavor. We are just animal life. What makes us different from animal life is Krishna consciousness, is these spiritual activities, is our realization with God. So I think yesterday Prabjit Prabhu was saying that we don't get this association where we can open our hearts, where we can share what struggles we are facing and how to advance, how to go forward, what questions we are having. So we have to create this association. We have to preserve this association. Because Machita Madgat Prana, Prabhupada wants, this is ISKCON actually, this is real ISKCON. When you share your heart, and then when the senior devotee speaks, Kuyam Akhyati Prichiti, then Krishna inspires him. The mercy flows to the heart, because you are receptive. You want a sincere solution from Krishna, and senior devotee is just acting as an instrument in the hands of Krishna to give that answer to you. So that's why we have to motivate each other. We have to encourage this questioning. We have to encourage this Kuyam Akhyati Prichiti. Okay. Hina Mataji, you have raised your hand. Any questions? I think there are 2 votes. So actually, this is how we advance. Actually, Guhyam dadati pratigranati, Guhyam akhyati prichati, bhungte bhojate cheva, shadvidam priti lakshanam. So then the process becomes simple because you are experiencing bliss, you are experiencing connectivity with devotees, and Krishna, you are experiencing Krishna also. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay, okay. Prabhu, as we have discussed in this shloka that Gul Karm Vibhagya, right? Gul Karm Vibhashya. So we have to do our prescribed duty, as Krishna says that we should do our prescribed duty and we should not avoid it. So this is our prescribed duty, right? If we are Brahman or we are Vaishya or we are Shudra or we are Kshatriya, so that is our prescribed duty as per our guna, right?
Yeah, prescribed duty is the one which is given in the scriptures. Like, this is our varna, either we are Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya or Brahmana, but duty is the activity which is prescribed in the scriptures. For example, for Kshatriya, the duty is to deal with the people, to become an administrator. For example, an IAS officer, he is a Kshatriya. So being an IAS officer is his duty. For a Brahmana to conduct yagyas, to teach Bhagavad Gita, that is his duty. For Vaishya to grow grains, to protect the cows, that is his duty. For Shudra to serve all the above 3 classes, it is his duty. Okay, bro?
Okay, and it is not dependent on the birth of the person. It is not dependent on the family and the where he takes birth.
Yes,
So it
Prabhu,
is
yes.
decided later on. So it is decided later on that what is the occupational duty or the prescribed duty of the person later on once the person grows up, right?
Yeah. It depends on your present consciousness, right? Present propensities. And like propensities can change depending on whether you are practicing bhakti or you are not practicing bhakti. So your trajectory can change based on your association, right? So if you are associating with Brahmanas, you might become Brahmana. If you are associating with a pure devotee, you might be on the path of pure devotee. But if you are associating with Shudras, then also automatically it will be difficult to become Brahmana. So it depends on your association.
But in today's world, the whole world is driven by caste system. I mean, at least in India. So I mean, like how I mean, it's like so much disconnected. Like what Krishna is saying is true. He has established himself the whole thing, but then what is being actually being done is very very different in
Yeah.
the society.
Yeah. It's not easy. Like one of the 7 purposes of ISKCON is to establish Varnashrama. And I think ISKCON is facing the most challenge in doing this, like establishing Varnashrama. Because it is Kali Yuga, we are not able to find qualified Brahmanas. And then Vaishyas are also not there who are able to focus on agriculture. If they want to focus on agriculture, the cost of living is so high, they have to drive taxis. Yesterday, we met a taxi driver who is a farmer also in Ayodhya, and he has to come to Delhi to drive taxi also. So if a farmer has to drive taxi also, then how will he concentrate on farming? Because he has 3 kids, he has to sustain them. So like this, since the head of the society is disturbed, that's why it's becoming difficult to reinstate the entire Varnashrama. So yeah, like we have to live with we have to live with what we have. We have to make best use of bad bargain. For example, I'm also working in a software company, so that is also I'm also working for some other manager. That is a Shudra job actually, but I have to continue working. Uh, and I have to try to reach Krishna consciousness there rather than just leaving it. So we don't have to disconnect anything. We have to connect everything. Whatever we have to connect. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharam upayunjita nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchyate. So that is called yukta vairagya. When you connect everything and you utilize everything as its role is. For example, if some beggar comes, he asks for charity, you give him some prasadam. So that is yatharam upayunjita. That was the best use of the prasadam also, and the beggar also got purified. Beggar also becomes happy. If you gave 100 rupee note, he might drink bidi, he might drink alcohol, he might beat his wife. So that's how we have to think in a Krishna conscious way. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. This is a very like controversial topic. Yes, Prabhu. Those Matajis left. Like they didn't like it. No.
No, I didn't know. I went out for 2 minutes. When I came back, they were not there. I thought you have asked them to go or something.
Okay. No, Prabhu. I didn't ask. I'm just asking you.
Did you ask them? No, I don't know. I mean, I was not there. Did you ask them to leave or something?
No. I think my internet was disconnected for half a minute, and in that at that time they were.
Oh, okay. I'll tell them to join if that is the case.
Yeah. You can tell them. Sure.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
न मां कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति न मे कर्मफले स्पृहा इति मां यो विजानाति कर्मभिर्न स बध्यते. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. So Krishna can do anything. In the morning we were discussing, I think Pragya Mataji has just left, I don't know why. But Krishna can do legal activities also, illegal activities also. Krishna can dance with Swakiya, Parakiya Rasa, right? In the Swakiya Rasa, he is having 16,000 queens in Dwarka. And in Parakiya, he is dancing with so many damsels of Rajbhumis without marrying them, right? And like that too, he is doing Rasa Leela, which is actually not mundane, which is not material sense gratification. It is full of spiritual rasas. So Krishna, one who understands this, that Krishna is not bound by anything. Krishna is not bound by material laws. For example, in our case, we have to work also for company. We have to give donation to ISKCON, and we will feel the heat, we'll feel the cold also. We have to take appropriate measures, put AC, put fan. Or in the cold, we have to do something here. So everything has to be done. But Krishna is beyond all these things. Krishna creates his own laws and Krishna operates on those laws. Krishna might lift Govardhan with his little finger, and we can't do anything actually. Lord Shiva is also like able to drink so much poison, but we should not imitate this because we are limited by capacity, and according to our quota and according to our realization, we have to act. Yeah, Ravi Prabhu, you were saying something?
No, Prabhu, nothing.
Okay. So, Prabhu, you want to read this purport? Ravi, please.
I'll read the next one, Prabhu.
Okay, Himanshu Prabhu.
एक सेकंड, मुझे भागवत गीता खोलने दो और मुझे मैंने खोलना नहीं रखा एक्चुअली. कैन यू शेयर योर स्क्रीन? आई कैन रीड.
मेरा भी सेम ही रीजन था हिमांशु.
सॉरी नॉर्मली खोल के रखता हूँ, आज बस मैं थोड़ा.
Okay, Prabhjit Prabhu is more sincere. I'm not comparing, just I'm telling. Prabhjit Prabhu, please go ahead for one.
Prabhu is the topper of the class.
Yes, Prabhu, you can read. You want to read.
Okay, Prabhu.
Should I project or you are reading from Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, reading. Purport. As there are constitutional laws in the material world starting that the king can do no wrong or that the king is not subject to the state laws. Similarly, the Lord, although he is the creator of material world, is not affected by the activities of the material world. He creates and remains aloof from the creation, whereas the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities because of their propensity for lording it over material resources. The proprietor of an establishment is not responsible for the right and wrong activities of the workers, but the workers are themselves responsible. The living entities are engaged in their respective activities of sense gratification, and these activities are not ordained by the law. For advancement of sense
आवाज
gratification, the
प्रभु
living
जी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
हाँ प्रभु, थोड़ा माइक से पास होके
आपकी
बोलिए
आवाज नहीं आ रही प्रभु जी।
और थोड़ा
ओके
स्लो।
ओके
हाँ,
ओके
थोड़ा स्लो।
हम्म,
तो इसमें
not ordained by the Lord for advancement of sense gratification. The living entities are engaged in the work of this world and they aspire to heavenly happiness after that. The Lord, being full in himself, has no attraction for so called heavenly happiness. The heavenly demigods are only engaged servants. The proprietor never desires the low grade happiness such as the workers may desire. He is aloof from the material actions and reactions. For example, the rains are not responsible for different types of vegetation that appear on the earth. Although without such rains, there is no possibility of vegetative growth. Vedic Smriti confirmed this fact as follows: Nimitta matram evashu सृजायनं सर्गकर्माणि प्रधानकारणीभूता यतो वै सृजा शक्तयः. The material creations, the Lord is only the supreme cause. The immediate cause is material nature by which the cosmic manifestation is made visible. The created beings are of many varieties, such as the demigods, human beings, and lower animals, and all of them are subject to the reaction of their past good or bad activities. The Lord only gives them the proper facilities for such activities and the regulations of the modes of nature, but he is never responsible for their past and present activities. In the Vedanta Sutra 2.1.34, it is confirmed Vaishamya nirghinena sapekshatvat. The Lord is never partial to any living entity. The living entity is responsible for his own
प्रभु,
acts.
रजित प्रभु,
Yes, yes.
हाँ, ये आपको समझ में आया? या आपने जो फुटबॉल वाला क्वेश्चन पूछा था, ये पॉइंट एड्रेस हो रहा है यहाँ पे?
फुटबॉल वाला, हाँ जी बोलिए.
कैसे ही हो रहा है बताइए?
ये यहाँ पे ना प्रभु जी वेदांत सूत्र वाला जहाँ पे ये कंफर्म करेगा, इसके नीचे जो लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे ना,
नहीं, पूरे परपोर्ट में ही हो रहा है.
यस प्रभु जी, वो मतलब कहना चाह रहे हैं कि जो भी हमारे रिएक्शंस रहते हैं, हमारे कार्मिक रिएक्शन रहते हैं गुड और बैड एक्टिविटीज से, उससे हमारे फिर उस कॉन्शियसनेस से हमें डिजायर से वो मिलती है हमें जो हम चाहते हैं प्रभु. जैसे वो चाहती थी उसमें फुटबॉल में कि मैन रन आफ्टर हर, तो सो प्रभु जी उन्हें फुटबॉल ही बना दिया.
करेक्ट. मतलब कृष्णा डजंट टेक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ अवर डिजायर्स. मतलब अगर हमारी डिजायर होगी, हम ज्यादा फोकस करेंगे उस डिजायर पे, तो वो कृष्णा अरेंज करेंगे उन चीजों को. ठीक है, अगर मान लो हमारी लस्टी डिजायर्स है, ठीक है, तो कृष्णा विल अगेन एंड अगेन, माया देवी विल कम नियर यू, शी विल टेम्प्ट यू अनलेस यू गो डाउन इन फ्रंट ऑफ माया देवी, राइट?
Yes,
So मतलब कृष्णा doesn't take responsibility of our own heart. We have to take responsibility in that situation. And that's why people say that your God is so cruel. It is giving corona also. It is giving this disease also, that disease also. But it is because of the individual living entity's free will, desire, and the past conditioning, because of which those conditions are happening. Krishna doesn't take responsibility of these situations.
yes प्रभु जी.
Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only gives him facilities through the agency of material nature, the external energy. Anyone who is fully conversant with all the intricacies of this law of karma or fruitive activities does not become affected by the result of his activities. In other words, the person who understands this transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, and thus he is never subjected to the laws of karma. One who does not know the transcendental nature of the Lord and who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, as are the activities of the ordinary living entities, certainly becomes entangled himself in fruitive actions. But one who knows the supreme truth is a liberated soul fixed in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, very important purport. So a person who understands the transcendental nature of the Lord is not affected by the results of an activity. Like, although there might be some element, for example, child begetting, right? Or for example, results of preaching. So he's totally detached. How many devotees are coming? How many devotees are able to benefit? So there might be different people at different levels. Somebody is opening his heart. Somebody is chanting 16 rounds every day. He's reading Bhagavatam also. Somebody he is not so much interested. He comes at his own will. So, but he is detached from both of them. So a Krishna conscious person is detached from the results. He just does his service. He knows Krishna will protect. For example, if you are doing some job, some working in your company, then you are detached from your salary, you are detached from your promotion. That is a devotee. He is just concerned about his service because his consciousness is so good. Like he just want to serve Krishna at the workplace also. So today morning, like Prabhuji was talking about this balance between material and spiritual life. Actually, there is no balance. There is just spiritual life. You elevate your consciousness in devotee association and you carry that consciousness to office. And you do keep serving. That is also Krishna service. Projects which you are given, that is also Krishna service. So the consciousness you carry, that connects that activity to Krishna. Okay, Prabhu. So this detachment, this is the litmus test, how much we are detached from the result. For example, we preach somebody, I just said that only. And the very good example of like the analogy which is mentioned in the initial part of our report is the CEO. For example, CEO, he gives some laws according to which the workers have to act. But he himself doesn't need to follow all those laws. For example, Sundar Pichai, he's firing so many people, but he doesn't fire himself. So based on the laws and based on the profit a particular vertical is making, he is making different cost cuttings. But he himself is not affected by those. So according to the work of different people, he is just giving them back their result. So we should be detached from those things. But we should put our full effort from our side in increasing our Krishna consciousness. Okay. I hope like this is very intricate part of understanding the law of karma. Like there is no confusion here. I think there are two Hinamatas. Okay, let's read the next words. Evam gyatva kritam karma purverapi mumukshubhi kuru karmeva tasmatvam purvataram kritam. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Yeah. This understanding was developed by all the saintly persons in the past lives. There are two classes of men. Some of them are full of polluted material things within their hearts, and some of them are materially free. Krishna consciousness is equally beneficial for both of these persons. Those who are full of dirty things can take to the line of Krishna consciousness for a gradual cleansing process, following the regulative principles of devotional service. So, for example, yesterday when we and myself and Prabhuji Prabhu were talking, my father was also listening, right? Although he is not able to do so much devotional service, but the discussion was very appealing to him also, and somehow he was also able to relate, and he was also able to feel the good vibrations created by Prabhuji Prabhu's inquiries. So even a person who is not able to practice, he can practice Krishna consciousness and he can cleanse his heart in an ongoing manner by listening to these discussions. In many purports, Prabhupada says that one who listens to these transcendental discussions, he becomes enlightened by that. And these discussions are not ordinary because Krishna himself is present in those discussions. So don't take lightly these classes. Like these classes are full of transcendence, full of Krishna. And the more you participate, the more you ask questions, the more carefully you read Prabhupada purport, the more Krishna will reciprocate. Those who are already cleansed of the impurities may continue to act in the same Krishna consciousness so that others may follow their exemplary activities and thereby be benefited. So if one is Krishna conscious, he doesn't say, okay, this person is full of dirt, why should I associate with him? But he doesn't see the other person. He remains fixed in his own service. And he tries to help the other person also, keeping a distance at whatever. Foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Arjuna's desire to retire from activities on the battlefield was not approved by the Lord. One need only know how to act. To retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and to sit aloof, making a show of Krishna consciousness, is less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna. So we should never give up our own prescribed duty, because that is also service given to us by Krishna according to our modes. So Arjuna wanted to leave the battle, but Krishna convinced him to fight. Arjuna is here advised to act in Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of the Lord's previous disciples, such as the sun god Vivaswan as mentioned herein before. The Supreme Lord knows all his past activities as well as those of persons who acted in Krishna consciousness in the past. Therefore, he recommends the acts of the sun god who learned this art from the Lord some millions of years before. Yeah. All such students of Lord Krishna are mentioned there here as past liberated persons engaged in the discharge of duties allotted by Krishna. So Krishna knows all his students. Like his student might be in previous Chaturyuga or like before that Chaturyuga. Krishna keeps account of everything. So he has given knowledge to so many people. Vitrag Bhakrodha Manmaya Mamupasita Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Uta Madhvava Aga. So many saintly persons, they have taken shelter of Krishna and they have become free from Rag, Bhaya and Krodha, attachment, fear and anger. Okay. Kim karmeti kavayopi yatra mohita tatya karma pravakshyami yajgyatva mokshase shubhat. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So for example, we are not able to understand whether we should work for the temple earning less money or we should work for the NGO earning more money. So many decisions in life, they are very hard to take. Whether we should enter married life or whether we should remain brahmachari. Whether we should go to Delhi, whether we should go to Vrindavan. There are so many confusions, right? Yeah. Hare Krishna, Manish Prabhu. Manish Prabhu, you would like to read 16th verse purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Should I?
Yeah, should I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
16th verse. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all sins. Action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed accord with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. This is recommended in the 15th verse. Why such action should not be independent will be explained in the text to follow. To act in Krishna consciousness, one has to follow the leadership of authorized persons who are in a line of disciplinic succession as explained in the beginning of this chapter. The system of Krishna consciousness was first narrated to the sun god. The sun god explained it to his son Manu. Manu explained it to his son Ikshvaku, and the system is current on this earth from the very remote time. Therefore, one has to follow in the footsteps of previous authorities in the line of disciplinic succession. Otherwise, when even the most intelligent men will be bewildered regarding the standard actions of Krishna consciousness. For this reason, the Lord decided to instruct Arjuna in Krishna consciousness directly. Because of the direct instruction of the Lord to Arjuna, anyone who follows in the footsteps of Arjuna is certainly not bewildered. It is said that one cannot ascertain the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. Actually, the principles of religion can only be laid down by the Lord Himself. Dharmam hi saksat bhagavad Pranitam, Bhagavad Pranitam. No one can manufacture a legal principle by imperfect speculation. One must follow in the footsteps of great authorities like Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Manu, Kumara, Kapila, Prahlada, Bhishma, Sukhar, Dev, Goswami, Yamaraja, Janaka, etc. By mental speculation, one cannot ascertain what is religion or self-realization. Therefore, out of causeless mercy to his devotees, the Lord explains directly to Arjuna what action is and what inaction is. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness can deliver a person from the entanglement of material existence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. This
What is
particular
causeless mercy, Prabhu? Causeless mercy.
causeless mercy is what Prabjit Prabhu received yesterday. Prabjit Prabhu is there, no? Yes, Prabhu. Prabjit Prabhu, you would like to answer Prabjit Prabhu's question?
Prabhuji, can you repeat the question?
What is causeless mercy? He's
What is
asking.
causeless mercy which you received yesterday, which we did receive?
जी इट्स लाइक जैसे कि मतलब एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पा रहे हैं क्योंकि स्पीचलेस है इस बारे में कि जब कोई प्लान ना हो कि कहीं से कि कहीं मर्सी मतलब हमें मिलेगी या नहीं, तो तब ये मतलब सडनली कुछ अनएक्सपेक्टेडली कुछ ऐसा प्लान हो जाता है कि एकदम मर्सी आने लगती है बहुत, और अंदर से बहुत प्योरिफिकेशन फील होने लगता है। मतलब जो हम चाह रहे थे कि 2-3 दिन से कि हमें ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट मिले कि हम चाह रहे कि हम ओपन करें किसी भक्त के सामने अपना हार्ट, तो प्रभु जी आई थिंक मेरे उससे तो कॉजलेस मर्सी ये होती है। बाकी प्रभु जी हमें इतना नहीं पता।
नहीं, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही कह रहा है, बिल्कुल बैंग ऑन टारगेट, बुलसआई। मतलब जब जो हम चाह रहे होते हैं वैसा हो जाए, या फिर मतलब हु आर वी टू चैंट हरे कृष्णा, राइट? The Krishna is giving the association of devotees. That's why we are able to chant Hare Krishna. So that is the causeless mercy of the Lord, causeless compassion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no qualification we have. We can't say that I was Vasishtha Muni in my previous birth. That's why I'm experiencing so much mercy in chanting Hare Krishna. So this bliss which you experience in spiritual practices, that is causeless mercy. So today, one devotee, Prabhuji was telling in the morning class that one devotee asked Guru Maharaj, ki, Maharaj, I am not able to chant. I am not getting sufficient taste in chanting. So Maharaj asked him that, how many years are you chanting? So he said, for 18 years I am chanting. So Maharaj said, you cannot chant for 18 years without taste. So there is taste. So that taste is causeless mercy. That taste is not dependent on our doing. That taste is controlled by Krishna. So that is the causeless mercy. So the plan of Krishna. Yesterday, whatever happened between Prabjit Prabhu came, somehow Pragya Mataji informed me that he is in Delhi. I was also going to Delhi. And yesterday we met in Delhi. Although I was also very tired, he might also be doing so many things in Delhi. But still we met, we had Prashadam, and we had a lot of good discussion. And my parents also got benefit. So this is causeless mercy. Krishna arranges things in a certain way so that people get purified. Like I was also not expecting, he was also not expecting, my parents also were not expecting that, but things turned out in that way because of our devotion in our heart. We want to get that mercy. Everybody was eager for that mercy. Yes, bro.
प्रभु जी वो पार्ट जो हमने नरसिंह आरती और घोड़ा आरती करी थी वो तो प्रभु जी बहुत मतलब ट्रांसेंडेंटल था।
हाँ, यस। मतलब मेरा जो डिवोशनल सर्विस है उसमें भी मेरे को आरती का ही बेस्ट रहता है। अभी मतलब कल हम पहली बार मिले थे, तो मतलब अभी धीरे धीरे एसोसिएट और करेंगे तो और अच्छे से उसको आप और मतलब रोज सुदृढ़ सौर्य मतलब सॉलिडली फिक्स करना है सारी चीजें, क्योंकि वही हमारा रियल स्वरूपा है एक्चुअली। without worshiping the Lord, without chanting, we cannot say that we are humans. That is the real position of a living entity, that we are meant to experience that pleasure of worshiping the Lord, because we are directly in touch with Krishna when we are worshiping the Lord, when we are doing Aarti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is there, and when two souls come together, they are not 1 + 1 is not 2 in spiritual world. It becomes 11. The spiritual bliss magnifies by 11 times. Only thing is we have to be humble, and we have to just follow the inspiration of the devotees. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah. Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmana akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. So karma is very complex. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. So this is very important words. It is referenced at various places: karma, vikarma, and akarma. Karma means we are doing activities according to scriptures. Vikarma means we are doing something which is not directly authorized by scriptures. For example, illicit sex or eating uncle chips. And inaction is the bhakti activities. Like akarma means the activities which don't cause any reaction. Directly doing bhakti, that is inaction. So that's why, like, if you do devotion, then automatically all of your karma will be purified. We are sitting here, yesterday we were discussing this, that all the struggle is there that to connect with Paramatma. So soul and super soul both are sitting in our heart. When we chant Hare Krishna, we directly become connected to Paramatma. But because of the subtle conditioning which is coming out from the Antakarana, we are not able to connect with him directly and continuously. So that's why it becomes a gradual process. One time Prabhupada was asked that how much time does it take to become Krishna conscious? So Prabhupada just did like this. 1 second. But we don't want to surrender. That's why it becomes a gradual process. So like that. Because Krishna is very powerful. Krishna can immediately take all the conditioning. Just like he did for Gajendra, right? Immediately he took him back to Godhead. He was an elephant. He was in a covered body. But immediately Krishna took him back to God. Because he was in Tridanda. Yeah. Yeah, Prabhu, good.
Yes, Prabhuji, sorry, I have to go somewhere. So,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, can I leave?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu, sure. Thank you for your assistance.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Great. Anybody wants to read Vinamataji or Manish Prabhu? Or Ivansh Prabhu? Over.
ये यदि कोई सचमुच ही भाव बंधन से मुक्ति चाहता है, हेलो
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
हेलो,
पढ़िए.
यदि कोई सचमुच भाव बंधन से मुक्ति चाहता है तो उसे कर्म अकर्म तथा विकर्म के अंतर को समझना होगा. कर्म अकर्म तथा विकर्म के विश्लेषण की आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि यह अत्यंत गहन विषय है. कृष्ण भावनामृत को तथा गुणों के अनुसार कर्म को समझने के लिए परमेश्वर के साथ अपने संबंध को जानना होगा. दूसरे शब्दों में, जिसने यह भली भांति समझ लिया है वह जानता है कि जीवात्मा भगवान के नित्य दास है और फलस्वरूप उसे कृष्ण भावनामृत में कार्य करना है. संपूर्ण भगवत गीता का यही लक्ष्य है. इस भावनामृत के विरुद्ध सारे निष्कर्ष एवं परिणाम विकर्म या निश्चित कर्म. इसे समझने के लिए मनुष्य को कृष्ण भावनामृत के अधिकारियों की संगति करनी होती है और उनसे रहस्य को समझना होता है. यह साक्षात भगवान से समझने के समान है, अन्यथा बुद्धिमान से बुद्धिमान मनुष्य भी मोहग्रस्त हो जाएगा. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, so we have to follow the authorities. Like in making decisions in life, we have to consult with the mentors. We have to Mahajano yena gata sarvanta. We have to follow in the footsteps of the Mahajanas. Because we ourselves, we don't know. For example, now Prabhuji Prabhu also, his life is in turmoil actually, right? Its recording is going on, but we have to plan in such a way that we can take association very peacefully, very nicely. It's not like at one place we are taking association, at the other place we are losing all the credits. So we have to follow the Mahajanas. We have to consult our seniors, and we have to plan in a nice way. Karmani akarma yah pasched akarmani cha karma yah sabudhiman manusheshu sayukta kritsna karma krit. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. So always a devotee, he tries to, he is very confident about the Shastra, about his authorities, but still he's always seeing all the aspects. He's evaluating all the aspects of life. all the aspects, all the alternatives of the decision. Purport. A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization. But the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of his service. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. Yeah. So an impersonalist, he will be afraid, okay, I will go to temple, or I cannot go to like Harinam, I cannot take prasadam. But a devotee, he is freely doing Harinam. He is fully joyful doing all sorts of spiritual activities. But an impersonalist is always afraid. He is fearful because he is not able to accept his Sachidanand Vigraha form of the Lord. Because he is always acting on for the pleasure of Krishna. That's why he is always carefree. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. So this is very important verse, that every decision which we take, the evaluation should not be our own sense gratification. It should be Krishna's service. How we can expand Krishna's service, how we can please our spiritual master. Yes, Manish Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes. Not only
So you
read, but I have to ask some questions too.
Yeah, you want to ask? Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so karma, keeping Krishna in the center, whatever that should be not vikarma. So keeping Krishna in the center, that is called akarma, or karma without keeping Krishna in the center, that is called karma.
No. That is vikarma. So there is Shastra. If you follow Shastra, that is karma. If you do activities according to Shastra, that is karma. If you do activities which are outside Shastra, that is vikarma. And if you are directly doing some Krishna conscious activity, that is akarma, because that doesn't have any reaction. Rather, they dissolve the subtle body. They dissolve the existing karma also. Okay, bro?
So Mayavadi do not keep Krishna at the center. That means they do karma.
Yeah. Yes. You are getting confused between karma and akarma, I think. No,
No,
but
now I.
Okay, we'll read the purport.
Yes.
Himanshu Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure. यही screen से पढ़ लो ना?
Yes.
Only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. Because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratifactory propensities, it is to be understood that he has burned up the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who has attained to such perfection of knowledge. Development of this knowledge of eternal servitorship to the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reactions to work.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
This is very important. Every devotee is aspiring for purification and to become a pure devotee. And Prabhupada is directly giving the litmus test. Because if he is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory propensities, so in every action of his life, he is considering Krishna, Guru, and devotees as the satisfying elements, not his own senses, then he is Krishna conscious. He has burned up all the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position, as I tell. Jivere Swarupe Krishna Ranitya. Thank you. त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मणि अभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः. Abandoning all attachments to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So he is engaged in so many services, but no service he is taking for his own profit. He is doing for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. This freedom from the bondage of actions is possible only in Krishna consciousness when one is doing everything for Krishna. A Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of the action. He is not even attached to his personal maintenance, for everything is left to Krishna. Nor is he anxious to secure things, nor to protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything. This is the sign of akarma, or actions without fruitive reactions. Any other action, therefore, devoid of Krishna consciousness is binding upon the worker, and that is the real aspect of vikarma as explained here in before. Okay. So his heart is very free, like he doesn't need to. He's totally detached from all the fruitive results. He's totally attached to Krishna and his devotees. And his main focus is on his own Krishna consciousness and how to please Krishna, how to maintain that connection with Krishna. So he does his duty very nicely, but he doesn't really worry about the results. He's unattached to the results. Nirashiriyat chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilvisham. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence, perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Yeah, so he doesn't endeavor too much for earning money, or he doesn't endeavor too much to constructing a big house. So whatever Krishna is giving, he becomes happy. And whatever Krishna is giving, that also he doesn't accept them as his own. He knows that all of the things which he has, that they belong to Krishna. So iha yasya harir dasya karmana manasagira nikhilasvapi avastasu jivan muktasa uchyate. Yasya devi para bhaktir yatha devi tatha guru tasyete katita yartha prakashante manatmana. So he is able to completely understand that everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is created by Krishna. Okay. Purport, Hinamata, you want to read? No, thanks. Or Ravi Prabhu, you want to read? 21st verse.
Yeah, Prabhu, I'll read 21st.
Yeah.
Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. A Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad results in his activities. His mind is his mind and intelligence are fully controlled. He knows that he is part and parcel of the Supreme, and therefore the part played by him as part and parcel of the whole is not by choice, but by chosen for him by Supreme, and is done only through his agency. When the hand moves, it does not move out of its own accord, but by the endeavor of the whole body. A Krishna conscious person is always doted with the supreme desire, for he has no desire for personal sense gratification. He moves exactly like a part of a machine. As a machine part requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance, similarly, a Krishna conscious man maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for action in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. He is therefore immune to all the reactions of his endeavors. Like an animal, he has no proprietorship over even over his own body. A cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession, yet the animal does not protest, nor does it have any real independence. A Krishna conscious person fully engaged in self realization has very little time to falsely possess any material object. For maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. He does not therefore become contaminated by such material sins. He is free from all reactions to his actions. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Can you explain, Prabhu, a little bit what you read?
Yeah, Prabhu. Basically, Lord here is saying that we are just part and parcel of the complete system. We are part of the machine. We are not the machine itself. So we go by the will of the God, or by the will of the machine the part moves, or the sea. So we don't have any rights on ourselves. So we should not do sense gratification. We should not do those things because we are not independent. We are dependent part of the whole ecosystem, or let's say godly system.
Yes.
So we should only do service in the service of Krishna, Lord Krishna, and we should keep ourselves fit, because if we don't keep ourselves fit, we will not be able to do service for Krishna while doing our occupational duties also. So we should always think in this way that we are part of the whole system, part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore all our activities have to be dovetailed to we in his this thing in his transcendental service. We have to do for his worship and for his uh, appeasement.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Very nicely explained. Matlab, we are not the entire machine, but we are part and parcel of that machine. So we are generally, so one example here Prabhupada is giving that when the hand moves, it does not move out of its own accord, but by the endeavor of the whole body. So if you are able to go to Vrindavan or Govardhan, it is not by just by our endeavor. You cannot go to you cannot enter Vrindavan Dham without Krishna sanction, or just by buying a ticket. You need mercy. You need association of devotees. You need blessings of devotees. Then only you can enter Vrindavan. So like this, we are just dependent on Krishna for so many things. Krishna is maintaining us. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. So a devotee cultivates this conception that I am not the doer. Krishna is the doer. Krishna is maintaining so many things. Krishna is nourishing me. Krishna is giving me these devotee family members. Krishna is giving these set of devotees with whom I can read morning, evening, with whom I can do Krishna Katha and for my own nourishment. So the controller is Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Yadrichya santusto dvandava
Thank you, Prabhu.
vimatsara samasiddhau asiddhau cha kritva pina nibadhyate. He who is satisfied with gain which come of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. This is very important verse, very beautiful verse, one of my favorites. So one who is totally satisfied with whatever come of its own accord, and he is free from duality, does not envy, raga dvesha vimuktestu vishyanindriyascha. He is steady in success, sukheshu anidvignamana, dukheshu vigatas priya. He is never entangled, although performing actions. Purport: a Krishna conscious person does not make much endeavor even to maintain his body. He is satisfied with gains which are obtained of their own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as in his power. Yeah, because he knows that Krishna is watching everything. That's why he has no insecurity. Like he just wants Krishna. He doesn't want anything else. Anything else which we want, that is because of our own lust, our own greed, our own mental, material attachment, and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. He is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service in Krishna consciousness. Ishavashamidam sarvam yatkinchaja. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of the material. The duality of the material world is felt in terms of heat and cold or misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. Yeah. Therefore, he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. Yeah. Trigunya Vishya Veda, Nistrigunya Bhavavarjana, Nirdvanda Nitya Satvastu, Yogakshinam. So Krishna conscious person, he has transcended the three modes of nature. Because he is always endeavoring to satisfy Krishna. He does not hesitate in those actions. Okay, we'll read one more verse. This will be the last verse for today. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasa yagyaya charata karma samagram praviliyate. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Becoming fully Krishna conscious, one is freed from all dualities and thus is free from the contaminations of the material modes. He can become liberated because he knows his constitutional position in relationship with Krishna. And thus his mind cannot be drawn from Krishna consciousness. Consequently, whatever he does for Krishna, who is the primeval Vishnu. Therefore, all his works are technically sacrifices because sacrifice aims at satisfying the Supreme Person, Vishnu, Krishna. The resultant reactions to all such work certainly merges into transcendence and one does not suffer material effects. Yeah. So all his activities are for pleasing Krishna, so there are no reaction. There is no material. Okay, we can read more words. So all this basically now this chapter is turning into more of a Brahman chapter basically. Transcendental knowledge starts from Brahman realization. So these verses, they are emphasizing on the importance of sacrifice. A devotee's life is every moment is sacrifice for his guru. He is not acting on his own conceptions, but conceptions given by his guru. So now, like, we will study that. Because behind every activity, the consciousness behind the activity is important. Brahmarpadam Brahma Havir, Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam, Brahmeva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness because of his full contribution. Yeah. So one who is totally Krishna conscious, then every activity which he does, that is fully consumed by the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So the activity, and for example, when you do a sacrifice, you have to put so many grains in the fire. So some people might ask, you are wasting so many grains, you should give it to some beggar. But actually, if your consciousness is good, then actually those grains are directly eaten by Lord Vishnu because the fire is not different from the mouth of Lord Vishnu. So anybody wants to read? Manish Prabhu, you want to read, or Hina Mataji?
Yes. यहाँ इसका वर्णन किया गया है कि किस प्रकार कृष्ण भावना भावित कर्म करते हुए अंतोगत्वा अध्यात्म लक्ष्य प्राप्त होता है। कृष्ण भावनामृत विषयक विविध कर्म होते हैं जिनका वर्णन अगले श्लोक में किया गया है, किंतु इस श्लोक में तो केवल कृष्ण भावनामृत का सिद्धांत वर्णित है। भौतिक कलमश से ग्रस्त बद्ध जीव को बहुत वातावरण में काम करना पड़ता है, किंतु फिर भी उसे ऐसे वातावरण से निकलना ही होगा। जिस विधि से वह ऐसे वातावरण से बाहर निकल सकता है वह कृष्ण भावनामृत है। उदाहरण के लिए यदि कोई रोगी दूध की बनी वस्तुओं को के अधिक खाने से पेट की गड़बड़ी से ग्रस्त हो जाता है तो उसे दही दिया जाता है जो दूध ही से बनी अन्य वस्तु है। भौतिकता में ग्रस्त बद्ध जीव का उपचार कृष्ण भावनामृत के द्वारा ही किया जा सकता है, जो यहाँ गीता में दिया हुआ है। यह विधि यज्ञ या विष्णु या कृष्ण को प्रसन्न करने के लिए किए गए कार्य कहलाते हैं। भौतिक जगत के जितने ही अधिक कार्य कृष्ण भावनामृत में या केवल विष्णु के लिए किए जाते हैं, पूर्णतः तल्लीनता से वातावरण उतना ही अधिक आध्यात्मिक बनता रहता है। ब्रह्म शब्द का अर्थ है आध्यात्मिक। भगवान आध्यात्मिक हैं और उनके दिव्य शरीर की किरणें ब्रह्म ज्योति कहलाती हैं। यही उनका आध्यात्मिक तेज है। प्रत्येक वस्तु इसी ब्रह्म ज्योति में स्थित रहती है, किंतु जब यह ज्योति आया इंद्रिय तृप्ति द्वारा आच्छादित हो जाती है तो यह भौतिक ज्योति कहलाती है। यह भौतिक आवरण कृष्ण भावनामृत द्वारा तुरंत हटाया जा सकता है। अतएव कृष्ण भावनामृत के लिए अर्पित हवि, ग्रहण करता, हवन, होता तथा फल, ये सभी मिलकर ब्रह्म या परम सत्य है। माया द्वारा आच्छादित परम सत्य पदार्थ कहलाता है। जब यही पदार्थ परम सत्य के निमित्त प्रयुक्त होता है तो इसमें फिर से आध्यात्मिक गुण आ जाता है। कृष्ण भावनामृत मोह जनित चेतना को ब्रह्म या परमेश्वरोन्मुख करने की विधि है। जब मन कृष्ण भावनामृत में पूरी तरह निमग्न रहता है तो उसे समाधि कहते हैं। ऐसी दिव्य चेतना में संपन्न कोई भी व्यक्ति कार्य यज्ञ कहलाता है। यह आध्यात्मिक चेतना की ऐसी स्थिति में योगदान उपभोग यज्ञ करता था, अंतिम फल यह सब परमेश्वर में एकाकार हो जाता है। यही कृष्ण भावनामृत की विधि। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, bro. You want to explain anything?
तो मैंने यज्ञ की प्रोसेस है, वो सारा उसकी सामग्री सब चीज है। मतलब कहने के कृष्ण में ही मान लेना चाहिए। यही एक उचित होती है और ऐसे करने से उसके जो कर्म फल है उससे भी वो बच जाता है और ये टोटली ब्रह्म रियलाइजेशन की ओर व्यक्ति जाता है।
Yes, bro. Yes. The consuming
मुझे
agent
ऐसा
of
ही
such an knowledge. Yes, bro. So everything becomes spiritualized. Matlab, if the material wheel is removed by Krishna consciousness, then the consuming agent, the offering or contribution, and the process of consumption, the contributor, and the result, everything becomes spiritualized. So अगर आप यज्ञ कर रहे हैं तो यजमान भी स्पिरिचुअलाइज हो जाएंगे, जो आप ग्रेन्स डाल रहे हैं आग में वो भी स्पिरिचुअलाइज हो जाएगा, जो यज्ञ है वो भी स्पिरिचुअल हो जाएगा, और जो लोग विटनेस कर रहे हैं उस यज्ञ को वो भी स्पिरिचुअलाइज हो जाएंगे. So everything, the consciousness becomes totally spiritualized. So that's why these things are not ordinary. If the yajman and the priest is highly qualified, they have good consciousness, then it will affect that will transform the consciousness of others also. Okay, Prabhu, I think we'll stop here for today and we'll continue from 25th verse from tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, to you all.